It's vegan recipes with Pat and Emily.
Hey, welcome to It's Vegan. Today we're making a few recipes that might be perfect for Easter or for spring. I'm going to be making a raw carrot cake, and this is an amazing cake. You are not going to believe how delicious it is, and I take it to work sometimes and everybody just gobbles it down. There are a lot of ingredients which we will list in the description area. And I have found ways to kind of quicken the method of making this. We're going to start by making the cashew frosting, then we're going to make what would be traditionally called the cake batter, and we'll assemble the cake. So to start with, I have got cashews that have been soaked overnight, and I like to rinse them before I re-blend them. And a high-speed blender is really useful here. It will make this so creamy that it's just hard to believe it's cashews. So to this, it's lemon juice. You could use fresh if you want. This is coconut oil, vanilla, maple syrup, and we're just going to keep blending it. We'll stop and scrape the blender down. So we're going to go for right now as I blend it. We're back. The cashew cream frosting is all finished. I'm going to put it in the refrigerator because I need it to firm up a little bit before we assemble the cake. Okay, I'm going to start making what's called the cake batter. I've got my carrots and I'm going to grate them. I normally do not peel them, but that's up to you depending on how clean your carrots are. Next, the carrots are going to get measured and go into a bowl. I need 2 cups worth. Okay, so there's my 2 cups. The next thing I'm going to do is change blades out. I'm putting in cashews, almonds, and I'm using slivered almonds. I believe it's a little bit easier on the machine when it's blending them all up. Are those soaked? These are not soaked. Good question. You're just trying to get those pretty fine. I'm getting them a little finer than that. Okay, this is the consistency that you want them. Now you don't have to clean your blender out really well because we're going to use it. So we've got the cake batter ground up, and I'm going to mix this together with my carrots. And I'm hoping my bowl is big enough, you know how I am. And then I'm adding my cinnamon and my nutmeg to this. I want to get that mixed in really well before I start adding even additional ingredients. It smells wonderful. And this cake takes a lot of ingredients. I think that when you're making it, get everything together. Get all of your ingredients together, measured out. That will help you. I was just adding almond meal. Now I'm adding some more coconut. You can use sweetened or unsweetened coconut. I would prefer the unsweetened, but I can't always find it. So I'm just stirring some more coconut in. And then the raisins, you can use currants, and if you want your raisins really small, you could actually chop them up. I find either way is fine. So you're probably wondering, how on earth is this going to turn into a cake? And when I heard it and read the recipe, I'm like, how is this going to turn into a cake? And then it seemed so long, so as I said, I kind of added some process to it that would speed it up a little bit. So that's basically the cake batter, and I'm going to make a sweet mixture that will hold it together. To make the sweet mixture, I'm going to be putting in coconut oil, maple syrup, some dates, and we'll blend that up nice and smooth to make a paste. Blended up the dates, the coconut oil, and the maple syrup. I also have lemon zest that I'm putting in there, You can use fresh lemon juice. I'm always in a hurry, so in most cases I'm going to be using dried or something already purchased. But you can change that if you want with what you're making. So this is what, if you're making a traditional cake, would be called the wet ingredients. This is like the dry ingredients, so now I'm adding the wet ingredients. And this cake freezes well. So if you go to, all the time to make this, you can easily freeze it.
It's not bad to eat frozen either.
No, you can eat it raw.
Frozen.
Raw, frozen, yeah. I'm going to try not to use my hands, but we'll see what happens. What I'm doing today is I'm making a 3-layer raw carrot cake, but normally I'm rushed, so I normally make a 1-layer cake, but I'm going to show you the 3-layer because you'll be able to easily figure out the single layer. I just want to get everything mixed in really well. I just want to eat it actually right now. It's great. So I have a lined loaf pan, and I'm going to put 1/3 of this mixture in the pan. Sorry, I'm going to have this towards the back towards you. So I put in what I think is about 1/3. I'm going to smooth it out. Now if you were making just a single layer, I would start with a 9-inch square, possibly an 8-inch square. You could even use a round cake pan. And you need to get this patted down quickly. So I put a piece of wax paper, and I'm just using this pan because it's square to help me really get it compacted. It's very, very important that this gets very tight and compact. So that's what that looks like. And I'm going to put 1/3 or about 1/3 of our cashew frosting. Oh my gosh, this smells so good. Emily's filming, and I bet she just can't wait to taste it.
True.
So I'm going to smooth it out the best that I can. And I will stick this in the freezer until that cashew cream gets solid. That will probably happen like in 20 minutes. So we'll be back to layer it. I'm going to put on another layer. I want you to see how solid this icing has gotten so that I can press down the next layer of cake. It was in the freezer for probably closer to an hour. So again, I'm going to pat it down pretty firmly. That's good. I'm going to take about half of the remaining frosting. Okay, that's what that looks like. It'll go in the freezer. And I want to show you something. This cake batter, once it gets cold, you can actually just form little carrot cake balls if you wanted to use those as a cookie. They stay together. And yum, they're so good. Putting on our 3rd layer right now. And once we do that, I'm going to chill it before I plate it and serve it. looks like right now. And I'm going to put the final frosting on here. We're going to want every little bit of it because it's so yummy. Okay, it's ready for the refrigerator again. The raw carrot cake is ready. I'm going to show you how I will take it out of the pan, hopefully. It'll go well. I'm just loosening it a little bit. And now I will pick it up, transfer it over to the plate. And I'm going to carefully lift it up to get the parchment paper off. And as you can see, it comes off pretty easily. I would like to garnish it a little bit. So I'm sprinkling it with nutmeg just as lightly as I can. Then I'm going to put some chopped pecans on top. I know there weren't pecans in it, but I think the pecan and the carrot taste great together. Just pat them in a little bit. And there you have it. Hey, it's time for the taste test. And you need a serrated knife to cut it because you're cutting through raw grated carrots. And as you'll notice, I'm holding it together a little bit. So there is that beautiful slice of cake. And you can see the 3 layers. Again, if you just did the 9-inch square, you would have a square cake and with just icing on top. Or you could eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Enjoy!
Here come the outtakes.
As you can see, it's very creamy. Here's the outtake. I can start again. Final layer.